Welcome to the Post for All Season Sports Show. I'm Drew Rubenstein here with Dave Raese. And Dave, from Nick Saban to Lou Holtz, and now we can put Jimbo Fisher in the elite category with Monday's national championship game. There's been a string of very successful coaches that have come from West Virginia, and certainly add your father to the mix, Rich Rodriguez, Bob Huggins, Bill Stewart, John McKay. I mean, there's a long list, if you keep going back, of just successful coaches that not have always coached at WVU, but elsewhere. And if you're looking at kind of the laws of average, it would tell us a state this size wouldn't produce the number of elite level coaches, I don't think. So what is it? What's your theory behind this?
I don't know if there's a theory other than it seems to me that West Virginia, I think there's some of the kids and stuff when they're in school and there's some of these small coal mining towns, there's a burning desire that they get, even like Jerry West, his motivation, I think, to become the great basketball player he was to elevate himself out of the economic situation that West Virginia a lot of times gets people in. Maybe even look at the October Sky with, the Rocket Boys and how he wanted to get out of West Virginia, not be in the coal mines and stuff. So I think there was a lot of these kids did not want to accept the status quo that they felt was facing them, and I think they just worked very hard to get out of that, and just good work ethic kept them going until they hit success.
So culturally wise, you think there's a lot there that maybe this the way the state is, it produces that kind of a blue collar
Not
mentality?
at all. I think I wouldn't say that entire state. I would say, but I think the success guys are driven. Mm-hmm. Something I guess always has to drive a person to success, and I think a lot of it, West Virginia, is the upbringing, the environment that they grow up in. And it's not one they want to be a part of, for the rest of their lives. And so, obviously, Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, Rich Rodriguez, Saban and Rodriguez from Marion County, of all things. You're narrowing it down that far, coming out of small places like that. So I think that really, I think drove them, motivated them, I believe.
And do you think is there anything to it that we maybe see more elite level coaches versus the elite level players? Yeah,
because coaching doesn't demand any physical requirements. So I think, West Virginia is built up of coal mines, and so big people don't get into coal mines. Big people were out on the farms and things like that. And a lot of the areas back in the day, when coal mining they were very small, they were cramped, and so it didn't pay to be a big, huge man to go down in there. So yeah, football coaches, you don't have to be big, so that helps. Anybody can be a good coach if they put their mind to it.
And just a little bit ago, you mentioned some of the things that your father has told you. Did these coaches, the successful coaches, take pride maybe in the lineage of the successful West Virginians and kind of carrying on that tradition, or do you remember any stories specifically?
Not really on that. No, I'd say I think that I think that their character was molded growing up as they did. John McKay, I guess, was born in Everettville, which is in our county, and then he went to high school in Chinston before he went on. And so I think that I would say most of them would admit that it had their upbringing had a lot to do with their success later on.
And I think you're right about that what drives them. Some of the stories they've read about Nick Saban and just kind of this quench for success that is never really filled, and even in the limelight of a national championship, he can't smile or enjoy the moment because he's still looking for the next recruit, and it's
I worry
crazy
about him sometimes. Yeah. I've heard they go at it 24/7, and the assistant coaches and everything else, and I remember watching one television show. He has the same lunch, chicken salad, and a white styrofoam thing that's brought into him every day and stuff. And I often wondered, does he ever just have some fun, relax, or something? And sometimes I wonder if he does.
And not all of them have coached or necessarily stayed at WVU. Just coincidence, byproduct of the circumstances at the time, or do you think there's anything to that necessarily?
Well, there's always a bigger paying job somewhere. If someone has success, they want to move on. I mean, you just saw the coaching changes in college where, I think Charlie Strong was just signed by Louisville to an extension after that big win over Florida last year. We got one more year. Mm-hmm. His quarterback gone, and Texas is there, knocks on the door, and it's just too much money and too much of an opportunity to turn down. And so, I mean, Yeah, I don't know if he has anything to do with Texas as far as being in his blood or anything growing up there. I think he came to the University of Florida first before he went to Louisville,
Right.
so it sounds like it'd be a totally new situation for him as far as geography goes. But yet, the opportunity to compete for the number one with one of the best schools in the country, the best athletic departments, then that's too much to pass up. And I think that's a lot of reason why most coaches have left West Virginia, just better opportunities.
But the psychology of it, I mean, I know we've hit on that. It's still just fascinating to me what certain similarities maybe in a lot of these guys that we've discussed, and just what drives them and how they're able to keep going the way they have.
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously exceptions with those guys.
Yeah.
Because a lot of their classmates and things did not succeed as well. And of course, I'm sure we've had coaches from West Virginia who have not done as well.
Sure.
But you look at the ones who have succeeded, and it's still amazing with some of the where they came from. Nick Saban from Monongah, Rich Rodriguez from Granttown, and these are not big places and stuff. And if you would say this kid from Monongah is going to be coach of the national championship team, and this year you just say, oh, what would the odds be? They wouldn't be good.
No, and then when you start even looking at the assistant coaches, Rick Trickett at Florida State, Jeff Castile at Arizona, Bill Stewart when he made his run from an assistant coach to a head coach. I mean, it's Zach Spiker even on men's basketball side of things is doing good things at Army. So there's it's sprawling the number of West Virginians succeeding right now.
And I think the other thing too is athletics is important in West Virginia.
Yeah.
So as a kid growing up, the high schools, especially in a lot of the smaller high schools, that was the big thing. So there was a lot of interest in athletics in West Virginia, and so it was an area where the kids could sort of prove themselves, and became important in their lives, and so that's why a lot of them probably went into coaching and things like that.
That's interesting. All right, Dave, thanks a lot for your time once
Thank you.
again. Please continue to check theedpost.com for the latest on the Mountaineers and area sports. Thanks for watching today.